What would you really, really love to activate in your life this August? I'm Kylie Savage Psychic, and this is August Activation Oracle Cast. For almost my whole career as a professional psychic, I've been following a number system, and that is by Dan Millman in The Life You Were Born to Live, a guide to your finding your life purpose. Dan Millman's a really interesting person and a great speaker. If you're interested in him, definitely go and look it up. Look him up. He wrote the book The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. But the book, The Life You're Born to Live, it unpacks your birth numbers. And I just find it's the quickest and fastest way for me to understand my client's energy signature, to understand their life purpose. What are the numbers, the energy of the numbers that they're working through to realize their life purpose? And I also like to bring this number system into all the work that I'm doing in an ongoing fashion. So I have themes for Oracle Casts, which translate across my social medias, my website, blog, and in any other work that I'm doing. And I also track healthy habits. If you ever want to know about more about that and how to buddy up with me, get in touch. So 8 is a really interesting number, and I think it's a really key moment to focus on 8 because 8 as abundance and power really affects our wealth and our personal power and our agency. And at this time of extreme financial insecurity with a lot of financial instability going on in the world, it's a really good time to assess your own power, your own wealth, and your own agency and ability to change your circumstances in your life. 8 is a very empowering number. Now, the thing is, we usually work our numbers through the negative before we work them through the positive. Sometimes we go along the spectrum, wavering back and forth until we find, a place where we're more comfortable with the energy. 8 really trips a lot of people up, even when they have it in their numbers or if they don't. So, money can be a really tricky issue, but it's something that most of us, I'd say the majority of us, have to deal with on a day to day basis. So things like unpacking your money story, looking at your financial habits, having a plan for your wealth, growing into your comfort with having money and playing around with it and using it for good, things like that. And they're things that a lot of women tend to struggle with. And, we're coming from, especially in Western cultures, a background where girls weren't even taught maths because, it was considered a waste of time for women and girls. And we weren't, given the the major burden of working out the finances. That was always left to the man in a relationship or a marriage. So the thing is, a lot of women are coming to terms with their wealth, and we are, especially in Western cultures, the ones who definitely, finances are more of an issue for us and financial insecurity because after divorce, we're often in a financial position which is less than empowering. We have dependent children to look after, things like that. Our superannuation is more affected because we're going to casual and part-time work, and because if you don't have really good paid maternity leave, which we're catching up on in Australia, but we don't have that support system for working mums like they do have in some other countries. So the thing is, finances is something we've always got to deal with, and looking at your personal power and Lionsgate coming up, if that's something you're interested in, that's the 8th of the 8th. Um, it's something that, at any time we can look at, and yet it's a really good time to look at during August. So you may want to activate things around your money and your finances or your personal power, your ability and agency to make change happen in your life. You may want to look at spirituality, um, your career path, family and relationships, your health. You may want to activate, a new health plan and some new health goals, or romance and relationships. So have a think about what's the most, important topic going on for you in your life at the moment, and also what are you most interested and curious about right now? Because you will find energy to follow up and investigate things that you're interested and curious about, things that you really would like to learn about, more than things that, are pressing and important, but you don't have the interest. It's not something that engages you. So think about that and think about abundance and power. What does abundance mean to you? What does power mean to you? These are really complex topics and issues, and everyone's going to come to these topics from their own personal, unique perspective, and they're going to have their own take on it, their own understandings. So if you would like to unpack this further with me, let me know. If you're not sure where you're headed at the moment in your spiritual business, the best suggestion I have for you at the moment is either book a free clarity call. Let's see where you're at and how I might be able to assist you, or just go ahead and book a single session with me over there on my website. It's 111 Australian dollars. We chat for about an hour on Zoom and we look at whatever issue you're facing in your spiritual business, whether it's procrastinating and overwhelm, can I actually work as a professional psychic or healer, things that are getting in the way of you starting your business or following through on your startup plan. Or you could be, looking at up leveling. You want to study a new course, expand your healing, or you want to study with, a more famous medium or psychic and up level your mediumship skills, or you want to go and start working from a psychic shop, spiritual new age shop, or do fairs or events, or kick off a website or launch a program or course. Whatever it is, if that's something that I can assist you with, for accountability, support, clarity, and just to unpack that overwhelm, see where it's rooted, like what's the basis for it, and how we can navigate that challenge and move you forward. Because you want to experience a transformation and business. Well, there's nothing like small business, your own business, for personal growth and transformation. I can definitely attest to that. So wherever you are in August, just have a think. What is it that you would like to work on? What are you interested and curious about? And keep that question in mind as we get into the reading, because that's what I'll be asking. I'll be asking I've got to look at my notes. What will I activate? So what will you activate in August? And if you ever want to know more about the number system, or if you'd like to know what your numbers are, pop it in the comments. I need your date of birth. If you're not sure, just email me if you don't want to share that information publicly, and I'll send you back your birth numbers and unpack it a little bit with you. Okay, so today I will be reading from The Wisdom of Avalon, Colette Baron-Reid's Oracle card deck. This was her first deck, which I really love. I'm keeping an eye out. There are new Colette Baron-Reid decks coming out. And this one's the latest from Yasmin Boland. It's the Moonology Manifestation cards. I really love these. If you go and follow Yasmin, make sure you're following the right Yasmin over on her Instagram. It should just be Yasmin Boland. She doesn't have an official tick, but I'm sure you'll find the right one. She's been pulling a card of the day. She's often been pulling it from this deck, and I really love it. You've got to say, yes, that card's for you, that message is for you, and then get into it. Speaking of cards, I hope that you have liked, commented, and subscribed to this channel and hit that bell to get notified, because I have some unboxing videos to do very soon. I've been shopping. Sorry, try and get the light of it. This is Tosha Silver's Divine Beloved Oracle cards, and I finally have her the Wild Offering Oracle. I really love Tosha Silver. She's a really famous astrologer, and she's a very different talk. She doesn't talk about manifesting. She talks about, working with the divine. And she wrote the book on the Change Me prayers. And a friend of mine told me about her a long time ago. Sorry, getting the light off there. And I followed her work ever since. She has a course now. She's done a few free seminars. Tosha is a really interesting person and a great speaker. She's so knowledgeable and really no BS. Very much a straight talker, Tosha. I love it. Actually, Yasmin Boland interviewed her when she did her Hay House podcast. Something else we've been unpacking. If you go and join Kylie's Cubby over there on Facebook, my free Facebook group, we've been unpacking the Good Tarot. We're up to about card 20, or 20 today, of the Major Arcana. Then I'm going to unpack the court cards, and then we're going to look at the minor suits. My best suggestion and tip for tarot is get in touch with me, book a free clarity call, and I will show you how to split your deck and unpack it. The thing with the tarot is if you look at it as one unit, one whole unit, it could be quite overwhelming and confusing. A lot of people get anxious about reading tarot because there's so much history with the tarot, and people have, all these myths and false things about it. I teach you how to read tarot intuitively, and there are quite a few people that do that. If you don't want to work with me, my next suggestion is Biddy Tarot. Go and check her out. She's an Australian lady. She's cornered the market on teaching you how to read tarot intuitively. But if not, book a free call with me and we'll unpack the good tarot. Or at least go and find yourself in the cubby. And then each day I'm posting it and I'm showing you how to look at the cards, and I'm encouraging you to tell me what the cards mean to you. Because ultimately, when you're faced, across the table from your client, they're going to be relying on, like, they came to see you for your intuition, your wisdom, your knowledge, your experience, and your connection to spirit, and the way that filters through to you and out to your client. So the more you can get in touch with how you understand things, the better a reader you'll become, and the happier your clients are going to be, because you're going to be delivering super accurate, really honest and practical, valuable readings. Okay, so what do we need to get into? I'm going to give you all my news. Do you mind if I just defrost a bit with my tea? It's sunny outside. We've had some sun. What's the weather been like where you are? It's right at the end of July. There was still frost this morning, and all week, the temperature is supposed to be 15 again. I can't believe how cold this winter's been. I walk outside and you can feel the snow in the air. It's full on this winter, and I love winter. I'll be glad when this one's over. Mm. I was just trying to warm my hands up on the tea. Good tip for card readers, make sure your hands are nice and warm. Otherwise, the card's probably going to go everywhere. I'm really happy I've split my deck already. All right, I need to let you know about something very special that happens the first Wednesday of every month. It's called Cuppa and Cards Catch Up. And your first visit is free, so come along and check out the catch up. It's online via Zoom. The next one is coming up. It will be this Wednesday, the 3rd of August, 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, Sydney time, okay, because we have different time zones across Australia. Sydney time. You need to register, so send me an email. I will put the link in the email in the comments. Pardon me. It's info at KylieSavage.com. So register and I will send you all the details. You said free for your first visit. Come and check it out, see if you like us. I do a channel meditation. I give you the ritual and the connection to spirit so that you can do your readings. And this month, we're going to do breakout rooms. So I'm going to split you all up into pairs and you're going to read for each other. And we're focusing on asking the very best questions so that you can get the very best responses. Okay, I need to stop for a second and just say, are these gorgeous or what? Pull this one out. These earrings, aren't they adorable? I do a fair bit of shopping at my friend's shop, Ali's, and she has a shop called Earth, Air, Fire, Water Organics, or Collective. She has 2 businesses under there, and it's in Tamil. It's in the main street of Tamil, right near Aldi. You can't miss it. It's like a indoor market, so there are all different vendors. There's Tibetan Emporium, there's Emily and her amazing jewelry. There's a lady that does this, I think it's Handmade Heaven or something, does these beautiful crochet things. I've bought a scarf, all in my brand colours, of course. I walk into that shop and anything turquoise, Ali's like, oh, I was thinking about Kylie for that. And I just like zone like a, I'm like a bee onto these turquoise things. I got some fantastic resin mugs. They're absolutely beautiful. There's a lady that does beautiful resin boards and the cuppa boards, wine bottle boards, all that sort of, so timber and resin. There's a lady that does crystals and sells the pro oils, essential oils. I'm really loving those. I'm finding them, they're very affordable. They're pure essential oils and it's an Australian based company. It's not an MLM I won't touch MLMs. So women in slavery, that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. Prove me wrong if you wish. But Pro Oils is not an MLM. The only other oils I like is Phillip and Buckley's, or Buckley and Phillips. I always get around the wrong way. They're based in Melbourne, been around since the 70s. Brilliant company, fantastic oils. What else? Yeah, so go if you're around in Tamworth. If not, you can shop online. Earth, Air, Fire, Water Collective. And Alia makes the best organic teas you're going to find anywhere. I've been drinking her peppermint tea. It is hands down the nicest peppermint tea I've ever had. If you have sore tummy or anything like that, it's really good for you too. Okay, so cover and cards. Mentioned the earrings. That's good. The scarves from my friend shop, Tanya's Trinkets in Picton. That's where I get all my candles from, and my scarves and my other little bits and pieces, like the candle holder. I'll have affiliate links any second now. Okay, what else do I need to let you know? I need to let you know that, recently, um, I was able to have a talk with Mida, Mida and Oren. Now, Mida channels, she's a direct voice channel for a collective group of energies called Oron. So a little bit like Abraham Hicks. And if you would like to check that out, you need to go and visit my Facebook page, Kylie Savage Psychic on Facebook, and I'll have a link to the video there, or let me know and I'll send it to you. And I will also, where you need to find out all my news, is my monthly musings, my newsletter. So there'll be an August activation newsletter coming out very soon. You can either sign up at the website, scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, there'll be a sign up box there, or just email me and I'll add you to the list. Okay, so that's what I had. Oh, and the latest conversations with Kylie. I know you've watched it, I'm sure you have. So thanks for the likes and the comments and the feedback on that. I talked with Lily Rudolph all about marketing your spiritual startup biz. That was a really great conversation. There's so much in that. Definitely get in touch with Lily and find out what packages she has for marketing your biz. Marketing is one of those things, I think we tend to avoid, and it is so essential for your business. Marketing is where the money's at. And if you're not making money, you're not in business, you're in charity. I'm also blogging on Medium. So if you want to go and find me, everything is under my name, Kylie Savage. If you spelt my last name right, you'll find me. Savidge. Stick around for that. I've been doing some blogs on freebies. Why free isn't free. Quite savage. It's blogs. And yeah, I'm truth telling the best way I can. I think that's it. I think that's all the news. Let's jump into the reading. So remember, deep breath in, deep breath out, shoulders away from ears. You are considering something you're interested in, curious about, or a most important topic in your life and what you'd like to activate. We're talking about building those baby steps towards, change and creating the life of your dreams. Okay, so I have 4 piles here, and I want you to go ahead and pick a number intuitively between 1 and 4 now. Got your number? Terrific. So that card number, that has a message that's just a little bit more pertinent and relevant for you and whatever is going on for you in your life right now. Let's start with number 1, our anchor card. Oh, we've got the goblins. Okay, now remember I was talking about money and money story and abundance and power. So our anchor card is talking about what gets activated in us sometimes, and I know this is true for me, with all these petrol prices going up and then the roll-on effect of everything, and I thought I was really annoyed because I thought it shows you how directly we're still controlled by the oil companies and by needing a source of energy. And the thing is, like, if we had renewable free sources of energy which didn't damage our planet and all the rest of it, imagine how much that would change our world and how that would really bring about equality. Scary to think about, isn't it? We're at the pointy end of a lot of things changing, and unfortunately, you have to dismantle things before you can rebuild. You've got to clear out the way. So, part of the dismantling process is awareness, seeing what is going on in our world, which is not really serving us anymore, and what needs to change. And goblins are, it's a good sign in a way because goblins come up like fears, self doubt, worthiness issues, anger, irritation, conflict. These come up when we're on the cusp of change or going through the process of change. Penny pinching, like when petrol price increases rolled out, it can cause a lot of anger and stir up a lot of things because it's connected to fear, financial insecurity. So it ties in well with our 8 August activation, abundance and power theme. So the thing is with Goblin, the wounded human ego, is that we all have an ego, and many of us, especially because of trauma, everyone in the world has now had some experience of trauma. There are certain things that I talk about the wounded ego, the things that really hurt you, where you're becoming reactive. You don't even know why you're angry or why you're fearful or why you're sad or depressed or anything, but it's an almost immediate reaction. And what has happened is we have these, it sounds terrible, but these raw, pulpy wounds inside of us, and it's like someone sticks a pin in it. And because these wounds are already they've stayed open and they're raw, even a pinprick, it feels fatal. So this is a good month to notice the goblins. When are they activated? Is it around money? Is it around romantic relationships? Is it around our health? What are the things that really activate our fears? When you quickly react to something rather than slowly respond, what's going on? What were the antecedents? What were the thoughts before? What was the behavior? What are the consequences? And then we can look for solutions. We can do some journaling, go into our talk therapy, meditate on it, talk to spirit about it. We can unpack these topics and find out, go deeper, find out what's really going on for us and why. Maybe we're looking at, we can look at things like financial insecurity and the rising cost of living as saying, okay, you know what? I'm not in a great financial position. Maybe there's something I can do about that. It's not always about, changing the budget, but maybe it is. Maybe we've had excessive things, and maybe our money's better spent in other ways. Maybe we don't have a savings plan, and it's very easy to get started with that. And the thing is, it's more about the habits we develop around money than how much money we have. If you have a savings plan, it's just direct debit, $5 a month goes into that account. And then you can look back and go, oh, wow, I've got $250 and I didn't really have to even put any thought into it. My money is growing and I don't even have to think about it. Denise Duffield Thomas has a lot of great tips and she has some really cool books and a membership program. She's someone who can unpack that for you. I think The Soul of Money is a good book. Money, a Love Story. I know I started that. Haven't finished it yet. Kate Northrup, and I've listened to a lot of her stuff. But yeah, money is something that it's great that so many of us have problems with it because there's so many resources. But just I want you to look at the bright side, the positive of this, and say, okay, if I'm getting really activated around my money and my money story, perhaps it's time for me to use that agency and power, look at my money, maybe call in an expert, do some more study and knowledge, and get a financial plan working for you that really does work and you're going to stick to and be consistent with, and you could see your money grow and you have more of a cushion because world finances are always going to go up and down and you don't want to be, at the mercy of them so much. You want to be able to look after yourself enough that those huge changes in world financial weather don't impact you so severely. Okay, so that's goblins. If you chose card number 2, your card is, oh, I think did we have this the other day? I'm not sure. I've seen this card recently. Birth, rebirth. So moving on from that, think about your agency. Think about your power. You have the power to make lots of choices about lots of things. Some things are always going to be out of our control. A lot of things are within our control. We can choose. So birth, rebirth is, as you said, looking at those things that get activated as what activates our goblins. Because see that as a part of the process of change. Birth, rebirth, these transition periods are often the most challenging to navigate. Once we've come through the process, of change and we're at a place where we're more like stasis, everything's more in balance and we're feeling more okay and everything's more settled, that's great. We're feeling really comfortable and everything. The only constant we can rely on in this world and in life is change. And birth, rebirth, as you said, sometimes it's really tricky. Some births are easy, some births are harder. But the thing is, look at where, like you reflect over this month, where you're at in that cycle of change. What's really going on for you? What is your subconscious leading you into? What is your soul leading you forward into? What is it asking you to unpack and dive deeper in? And know that this is a process you are just going to keep continually going through as you're human. So really it's about acceptance. Knowing where you are in that cycle, getting the assistance and support you need to move through it, rewarding yourself, reflecting on, wow, I'm coming through this so much better. We tend to go on the spiral up and down, especially with spiritual growth and development. We think we're learning the same lesson again. You think, oh, God, I'm a slow learner. I mean, we are. But what it is, you've just come around to that part of the spiral to go deeper. Peel the layer of the onion and go deeper with that particular spiritual lesson or experience. So give yourself, I really feel like have some self-compassion. Give yourself a break around this stuff. We are all going through so much and we're still going through it all with a global pandemic. Okay, if you chose card number 3, your card is, oh, I really love this, the Lady of the Lake. Yeah. Power. So abundance and power. Whenever you get a card with some swords in it, I always think, okay, it's like the strength card for me in tarot, but it means that you are going through a challenge or a conflict or a fight, and you need to call in your allies. So in this cycle of, change, who are your allies? If you're looking at, let's stay with money and finances. So a financial planner would be an ally. Your bank could be an ally. A wise or trusted friend is really good with money. You can say to them, yeah, how do you always manage to pay for this, this, and this? Or how do you manage your kids' sport things? Or, even like places like Vinnie's help you with financial budgeting and planning. I know they used to. Asking your friends, how do you manage this and how do you manage that? And the other thing is to get over asking for help and assistance, because allies are there for a reason. And once you do call out for your allies and you rely on their assistance and support to help you through something, more show up. That law of attraction kicks in and more help shows up, and you get more comfortable with asking for assistance and support. And then that turns you into a better ally. You can then share that wisdom and support that you've benefited from and pass it on to others. So Lady of the Lake, she is, I think, absolute truth, courage, self-respect, responsibility. The other thing is our respond ability is empowering. Rather than just, coming around tax time or budgeting, or I know for me, bookkeeping, rather than just burying your head in the sand saying, this is too hard, I can't do it. You can either go and hire a bookkeeper or an accountant. What I did was get an accountability support buddy. So navigating my own tax I find challenging. I don't like doing it. Each year it's a little bit better, but it's always, and I procrastinate a lot because I have a fear of getting it wrong. So this year I asked for a buddy and we've been working together, helping each other through our taxes, just saying, okay, I'm going to do this by a certain date and then coming back and, when it's done, say I've done that. It's great, especially when you won't do things for yourself, but you do things for someone else. You don't want to let someone else down or disappoint them. So I know, oh, I want to be able to go back to my buddy and say, I've done this and I've done that. It's always in the back of my mind. I've got to go and tell them what I have done or haven't done. I'm not into excuses. So that really works well for me. But Lady of the Lake, just think um, the pointy end of our financial systems now reliance on non-renewable fuels and how things are changing. Like people are saying they're not going to let petrol cars into states and cities and all the rest. Things are changing very fast, and we need to have the courage to accept those things that we can't change and keep moving forward. Because whether this world is the way we want to be or not, there's always going to be, room for us to make choices and activate our agency, and room for us to come around to acceptance. There's a lot of things in this confluence time, this transition period. A lot of things are changing, and those old systems are coming down that can be painful. And you can see a lot of resistance to these changes. We had the Manly football pride jersey debacle recently. That's a really great example of people's uncomfortability and resistance to change and the process, what's needed. You need communication to be a part of the process of change. And when change comes from just top down, that can cause a lot of conflict, and it can cause people to not get behind you on things. People don't have to 100% believe in your cause to support the change. That's something else as well. And people are taking, things that are worldly, they're taking it a lot more personally these days. So just keep that in mind and call on your allies. Your allies for things like change, even your pets are allies for, that for emotional support, helping you reach your health goals. Go and walk the dog or sit out in the sunshine with the cat, meditate with cats. Things like that. Allies can be surprising things. Nature, pick out a favorite tree and know that that tree, symbolizes being balanced and grounded, and also, reaching for the heavens. Use that tree as an ally. Take a photo of it, stick it up in your mirror where you're going to see it every day and say, I grow just as my tree does. Take life lessons from a tree. Why not? Okay, card number 4. If you pick card number 4, oh dear. I'm seeing like the up and downness of this reading. Is the frog. So it's time to declutter. There's a lot of decluttering going on at big levels, but I want you to think about personally. What in your life are you ready to let go of? Because in that process of change, of birth, rebirth, you're going to need to let go of the things that are holding you back from change. So if you're, held back in your financial change, making changes in your wealth, growing your wealth, and it's tied to you emotionally, look at that and look at getting, your allies on board with that. Now, the other thing is floods, physical floods, rain, all that sort of thing. Almost every time this card comes up, there's an actual, a flood event. Haven't we had enough of those? Come on, seriously. And I really feel for all the people still suffering, the ongoing things of the floods. We had Splendor in the Grass, which is called Splendor in the Mud, because of an unusual weather event, things you cannot plan for. And a lot of people still had a wonderful time at that festival. So it depends on your attitudes, doesn't it? But declutter. Look at your finances and say, can you declutter them? Are you paying too much for entertainment? You've got all these things you don't use. You subscribe to a lot of memberships you don't use, ongoing courses or things like that. Are you spending money on clothes which aren't really quality and they're not lasting you? What about the money you're spending on food? Could you look at growing your own food, or sourcing things from local farmers? What are you ready to let go of, and what really needs to go so that you can embrace change? So I would love to know what you are thinking about activating this month in your life, and how I could possibly be an ally for that or support and assist you with that. Definitely go and check out my website, but just, drop me an email. info@kyliesavage.com. I would love to hear all about it, and I would love to be counted on as an ally for you, as a witness to see you make some changes in your life. No woman is an island. We change and grow for the better together. Going forward, it is all about community, connection, collaboration, cooperation. We're in that two energy still, very much so, and we need to have that vision of how we are all going to connect together at all levels for the community to collaborate, cooperate together. The cost of individualism and being selfish and self-seeking and just for the one and being independent has been astronomical. So the way forward is to not be these islands, is to work together. And that's the way we're going to continue to solve problems and find really creative solutions. It's ongoing into the future. I'm Kylie Savage Psychic. This has been August Activation Oracle Cast. Love your feedback, love your likes, and remember to share this video with your friends and anyone who you think may be interested. I really appreciate that. Take excellent care of you and excellent care of your wealth and your finances and your abundance. See ya.